Okay. Okay. Looked like Asmongold got his new orders from Elon. Dude, he's been doing the worst fucking propaganda. I saw something where he's like talking about how Israel is I saw him talking about how like, oh, the Israel stuff is actually not based anymore. Israel stuff is actually not based at all anymore. He's like, Asmongold panics and quickly closes Hassan's video after realizing Hassan described him perfectly. Culture war narratives try to divide the working class.
Experiencing. Because at the end of the day, the working class is the biggest base of support. That's just the reality. And all matter of culture wars and culture war narratives and arguments actually try to divide and successfully, unfortunately, do divide the working class. So we need to get...
Don't ever listen to this.
Yeah, not based, okay? No, divide the working class. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Culture war, he doesn't have... Listen...
Leftists are not calling Hassan Piker a Zog slave. What a year. Yeah, dude, I know. Here's Zog slave Hassan Piker admitting that he works with the mainstream Democratic Party, giving them on advice on how to mislead the youth. This guy gets so... Bad Empanada gets so horny to just fucking schizo post about me that he just forgets how to fucking type sometimes.
If you're willing to, ask somebody like Hassan what culture war issue they're willing to relent on. Are you willing to relent on having men and women's sports? Are you willing to relent and...
Dog, you just did the argument. It's so funny that he just straight up did not understand the point that I was making. The point that I'm making is all of this stuff about like transgender people, transgender athletes existing in society, they're immaterial. Okay, they're obviously important for trans people, but they're not important for people who aren't trans. That you and others like you use or drive the salience of these issues to the forefront of the conversation to divide the working class. When in fact, if we were arguing on whether or not the working class deserves more autonomy in their workplace, deserves more control over their productive output, whether they deserve health care, for example, the conversation would not favor the right at all. But the right knows this, which is why they have to constantly be like, no, we have to talk about trans people, whether they should be allowed in fucking, civilized society or not. And then he immediately doubles down and goes, yeah, don't listen to this guy. He just wouldn't. Yeah. The argument is, would you be fine with trans people existing, but also if that same party was offering you fucking healthcare? And I think many people would say yes to that, right? Because the reality of the matter is, if you're a cis guy, why the fuck do you care if trans people participate in like high school athletics or what, or not? Like, why would you care about that? What has that done to your life that Donald Trump has actively destroyed it, right? Donald Trump has successfully implemented these initiatives where he's banned, transgender athletes from participating in NCAA competitions. Has that made your life a little bit better? Is rent cheaper now? No, of course not. Do you have health care? No, of course you don't. Because that's a deflection. That's a deflection from the real issues. And that's precisely the point I'm making. Of course, Asmongold doesn't want his audience to hear that conversation, because then they'll be like, wait a minute, this makes sense. So he has to constantly make sure that their audience is like going back to the important matters. What is this? The Breakfast Club glazing you? What do you mean? Is that like from? Did you just link me Netflix? That's crazy. You just.
By the way, everything is quote unquote transactional when you're dealing with a child.
But I also disagree with this gentleman just said, and the reason I disagree is also how you raise your kids, right? They
What does this have to do with anything? Well, anyway, why is he even doing that for? What's the point? I mean, he just has to hit these divisive narratives. He has to go back to his fucking roots, Telemundo has noticed you. Wait, what is this? Telemundo will launch the mini series El Turco on Monday as a part of the network's triple premiere night. Oh, hell yeah. Turks on top, Turks on top, Turks on top. We're back, boys. We're back. We were not the table any longer, and that was devastating. Islamabad became the table. It was no longer Istanbul. That was the table. And all of a sudden, we're back. Not only are we the table, we're the chairs. We're the tablecloth. We're the plates on top of the table. El Turco. Okay? Turk varma, Turk varma, Turk varma. That's all I'm saying. Why isn't your hair that long? Because it just didn't look good. Just didn't look good when it was like that. Yeah, Asmongold panics and quickly closes Hasan's video after realizing Hasan described him perfectly. Culture war narratives try to divide the working class. Asmongold, don't listen to this man. Don't ever listen to this. Men and women's sports. Yeah. Turquía es la mesa. Anyway, so good stuff there. Speaking of which, I also had another interesting experience last night on Twitter. There's this guy, Brandon Buckingham, who's like a massive, I don't know if he still is, but he used to be a massive fan of Sam Hyde. He's a pedophile, neo-Nazi, right? And he tried to do like a call-out post on me, and I saw it, and I was like, sure. I mean, I'm fucking down to aid in this endeavor. And then he just didn't respond to me, which I think is very strange, right? So he once famously tried to, months after the fact, he tried to approach me at a Moist Critical event. And you know, he was trying to fucking talk about Sam Hyde, and I was just like, yeah, man, I don't fuck with pedophile Nazis. Like, I'm not trying to be around them. I don't know why you're defending them, right? And he was so purple red when he mustered up the courage to finally come up to me to talk about his, you know, the guy he's wearing on a shirt is a pedophile neo-Nazi. That he never actually got what he wanted out of that back and forth interaction. So months later, he just lied about it. I spoke to this guy who told me he would rather steal hundreds of thousands of dollars from child cancer researchers in exchange for not being in the same room as someone he suspected of being a Nazi. All his friends agreed. Which is funny when Myth actually came in with a kill shot because he's standing right there. This is right after Creator Clash. He goes, it's funny how you were talking about making amends and being chill regardless of our differences in beliefs. Then 2 months later, grew the balls to tweet this. Bro was red in the face and stuttering while talking to us too. Funny. Right? And since then, you know, he has, I'll give him credit. Oh, he responded 20 minutes ago? Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm down to do it. Anyway, yesterday he posted this. He said, my friends in Lebanon and Palestine believe Hasan Piker only talks about their conflict for personal gain. He has made millions speaking on their suffering while sitting in his ivory tower. It's time Hasan flies to Lebanon to help people in need. I helped dozens of families with only $10,000. I imagine the difference he could make if he actually cared about people dying in the Middle East, boarded the flight, and brought them aid himself. Now, I think what's really funny about this is a white boy telling me, a Turkish guy, that I don't, you know, I don't travel to the Middle East. I don't know anything about the Middle East. And you know, it's fine. It's very clear. It's very clear that he was trying to like bait me into some kind of thing, and it didn't work because I was like, sure. You know? I did it. Why can't he? For years, he has morally grandstanded and acted like these people matter to him. His audience thinks he cares, but why won't he go to Lebanon and help? I know hundreds of families being bombed who desperately need the money, Hasan. Enough role-playing, take action. I can connect you with the families in need in South Lebanon. Less than 1% of your money can save thousands of lives. Will you help them? So I just responded with, we have our disagreements, but I appreciated your coverage on Lebanon, which I did. He made a video. He went to Lebanon. He made a video about Lebanon and what Lebanon was going through. And I thought it was, you know, I thought it was pretty good. Especially because he has a very different audience than I do. And that audience seeing the plight of the Lebanese population because of, you know, Israel's relentless bombing campaign is a good thing, right? So I'm always willing to let bygones be bygones. So I said, look, we have our disagreements, but I liked your Lebanon coverage. Send me what orgs you're working with, and I'll gladly send money and even set up a fundraiser. I've worked with and fundraised millions for ANIRA, PCRF, Red Crescent, UNRWA, and Heal Palestine in the past, which is true, right? I'm in Lebanon and very much appreciate Hasan the Hun's coverage of what's happening here. He's been a crucial voice in the last 2 years. I also appreciate your Lebanon documentary, Buckingham Show, and I'm down to offer any help to raise money for my country. So I don't know if he's like still a Sam Hyde fan or not, but it is kind of strange because, you know, this is a very like YouTuber way of approaching the subject, implying that I haven't like fundraised actively. Implying that I haven't fundraised actively for Anira, which also works in Lebanon as well. I recently had a conversation with someone from Anira at one of these events I went to, where they literally said to me that this community was the first major fundraiser, because we came in hot, like right after. We came in right after October 7, when no one else wanted to touch the fucking subject with a 10-foot pole, and immediately started fundraising for the Palestinians. And I'm very proud of that. You know, we fundraised on numerous initiatives, but like the first one was for Anira, Palestinian Red Crescent, and PCRF. So like that was to the tune of $1.2 million, I think. It was like $1.2 million. And it's you know, I think it's one of my best accomplishments, one of this community's most important accomplishments. And it really helped, apparently, according to the people that work at these organizations, because no one else wanted to do it at the time because they were worried. You know? But of course, like when I go to places and deliver humanitarian aid directly, then people say it's performative. So I don't know why he's like, I don't think this is a sincere request, but I'm going to treat it as though it's a sincere request, because I think there's no reason to what do you call it? There's no reason to like take this stuff at face value and then not make something positive work out of it, right? But it is what it is. The thing that makes it weird is he chose to do it in a reply to a click of you talking about getting gaped. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. We boulder through. But yeah, I think it's kind of gross to be like, my friends in Lebanon and Gaza hate you. Like, to use Israel's violence as a talking point to like advance some kind of fucking YouTube meta is somewhat childish. And of course, you know, people will lean into this and then be like, oh, Hasan, he's right. Hasan is hated by the Palestinian people and the Lebanese people. They think he's fake. They think he's phony. And this is the type of thing that I have seen from not just this guy, but like even people who consider themselves to be fucking leftists. And I don't really understand where this attitude is coming from. Why do we feel so comfortable in the Western world to talk about these issues as though they are, you know, as though they're done already? Like, people are still being murdered, right? Every single fucking day. There's Palestinians being murdered in Gaza every single fucking day. There's Lebanese people being murdered in Lebanon every single fucking day by Israel. And the idea that this is like advancing some sort of like YouTube beef is really, really stupid. But this isn't him being genuine. Yeah, I know it's not him being genuine. He's trying to make it into a drama thing. And immediately Ethan Klein also seized on the opportunity. Ethan Klein constantly wants me to be physically in the proximity of Israel's drone strikes. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with that. Remember when he was like, why don't you go to Gaza? Oh, that's right. You can't go to Gaza. You're a fucking bitch. And now he's like, why don't you go to Lebanon, Hasan? It's pretty crazy. It's pretty strange that Ethan Klein will take any initiative. He'll never just like fundraise for these issues on his own. He'll only do it if there's a YouTube drama attached to it. He'll only do it if he can get me to be in physical proximity of Israeli drone strikes and Israeli bombing campaigns. I find it very strange. I'm not going to say he wants me to be fucking murdered by the state of Israel. Actually, I will say that. I'm pretty sure he just wants me to be in that situation so he doesn't have to think about me any longer. Which is, you know, there's easier ways of no longer thinking about me, which is, I don't know, you can just like live your life. It's odd. It's odd. that his talking point always is, why won't you go and be in physical proximity of the Israeli state so they can fucking assassinate you? He praised them bombing Lebanon recently, so yes, he does. Oh my God. Anyway, I would bet a lot that he's talking to Hen Mazik and getting told to push the idea of you traveling, even if he doesn't personally want you to get blown up. Yeah, I don't know. But in any case, strange stuff all around. When YouTubers get involved in stuff like this, it just turns into something so gross, in my opinion. Don't know why. Yeah. Oh, here. This is the one. Ethan Klein offers $10,000 for Hassan Piker to Hassan Piker if he travels to Lebanon. Ethan recently supported Israel's bombing of Lebanon, which has now killed over 3,500 people and injured 11,000.
Lebanon when they started launching rockets again.
That's why, I always don't understand the conversations where it's like, why is Israel doing all that? Well,
but there is a reason. So, like, if you want to actually.
By the way, these are the very same people that were cheering on the Trump administration potentially prosecuting me for my trip to Cuba. So I don't think these guys actually want me to go and help the Lebanese population at all. Okay? Just saying, I don't think any of these guys give a fuck about the Lebanese people. I don't think they care about, what the Israeli government is doing. I'll be charitable to Brandon Buckingham. He did go to Lebanon and he did actually humanize the victims of Israel's violence in a way that you normally don't see from content creators. So I'll at least give him that, right? But I don't think Ethan Klein cares about the Lebanese population. Here he is talking about how valid it is to fucking blow them up, how valid it is to destroy Dahia, how valid it is that Israel's blowing up Beirut again, right? Something that he's been in defense of over and over again. The very same podcast that has also celebrated when the Trump administration, the fucking fascist Trump administration, decided to prosecute me potentially, right? For my humanitarian aid trip to fucking Cuba. So obviously, I don't think he wants me to go to Lebanon because he sincerely cares about me helping the Lebanese population, where he's on the one hand defending their bombing, right? I think he wants a kinetic situation to take place in the hands of either Israel or maybe the Trump administration. It's fucking gross. It's gross. It is the grossest, most narcissistic, most selfish motherfucking thing. It's pure Israel behavior, by the way. 100% spiritually Israeli. I'm gonna let a larger, more powerful force take care of a problem for me. In this circumstance, Israel always relies on America. Here is Ethan Klein relying on the state of Israel.
Like, have a real conversation about.
It's being shot at from all directions: Houthis, Lebanon, and Iran. So,
well, for a long time, it was just Iran. And Hezbollah.
Not a long time.
No, Hezbollah just recently got into it. They were staying out of it.
Yes, I mean, you're saying long. It's not that long.
No, I mean, since this whole shit with Iran started.
Yeah. For years, it was from Gaza. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty sure if Theo Vaughn, if there was rockets coming from Mexico, he wouldn't be like, yo, what's with America, bro? Mm-hmm. Why can't they just leave Mexico alone? Israel only invaded Lebanon when they started launching rockets again.
That's why, I always don't understand the conversations.
Wrong. Israel never stopped murdering Lebanese people with drone strikes, even before Hezbollah started retaliating. It's wrong. It's bullshit. Hezbollah just retaliated when the Iranian campaign started after Israel blew up Iran. Ethan did this last year too. I can't get any security assurances. It's Israel that he's worried about. Lafsey Lecline. Israel killed over 50,000 people, including 15,000 plus children. Israel killed over 200 journalists. Israel broke the ceasefire and murdered 200 children. Genocide is a joke to them. Yeah, they literally think that like Israel wouldn't fucking assassinate Westerners that are able to get into Gaza. Like, they're so fucking insane. Who would protect me in that situation too? It's not like the American government would turn around and be like, wow, how dare you kill an American citizen who's there to do journalism, right? How dare you do that? It would never, not in a million fucking years. Okay? Why the fuck would they? Of course they wouldn't. The American government would be like, oh, thank God. Thank God you did it. Now we don't have to deal with the fucking legal repercussions ourselves. Anyway. So, having said that, there is a couple Asmongold takes that I wanted to look at. One was he has now decided. On the one hand, he's like Nick Fuentes is based, right? And that he's a funnel for Nick Fuentes. On the other hand, he keeps telling his audience that, you know, this Israel stuff is boring and silly, and no one should talk about it, and no one should consider it. I don't think he's like intelligent enough to recognize what he's doing. So I suspect that he's just seeing on his timeline, like the people that he cribs, the people that he fucking steals the talking points of, that they're also trying to navigate this space where they're like, yo, don't talk about Israel anymore, you know? And I assume that's what's going on here. This is the other take that I saw that is really funny. Let's take a look at what he was saying. It's not the top 2% of wealth that's oppressing you. It's the bottom 2%.
Intelligent and smart people. The problem, people are really not going to like this. You're not being oppressed by the top 2% of society. You're being oppressed by the bottom 2% of society. And the bottom 2% of society have caused
Yeah, it's not the wealthiest that control society. It's actually the poorest. Okay? Brilliant take, dude. This is the real working class whisperer right here. That's awesome.
The manifest problems in your lives are caused by the bottom 2% in society.
Yeah. Careful, the most impoverished, powerless people in society are the ones oppressing you and causing all the problems is certainly a take. Correct. They are functional animals who should be institutionalized via either prison or mental asylums. I think there's something really funny about Asmongold and his audience because they are in the bottom 2% of society. Like, Asmongold obviously is in the top 2% of wealth and the top 1% of wealth, right? But he LARPs as though he is an everyman, right? He LARPs as though he is in the bottom 2% of society. And his audience is literally in the bottom 2% of their own respective nations. Like a bunch of shut-ins that don't really do anything and are just like angry and want everyone else's lives to be fucking dog shit too. And it's really funny that he just gets to present this narrative where there's like those who are even lesser than you that are actually the people who are responsible. I mean, it's a typical take from a 1%er. Asmongold is a 1%er. He LARPs as though he's not, right? He dresses like shit. He doesn't shower. He lives in filth. And a lot of people think that is a lot of people see that and think, no, this is a real one. This guy is a real one. He doesn't own multiple businesses. He's not like a multimillionaire, right? Except he is. He is another multimillionaire telling you that people like you are the reason why you're failing. It's not the wealthy people that have designed this system to ensure that you don't actually ever make ends meet, that we don't have profound amounts of wealth and productive output out there that could be used in a more productive manner to make sure that there are more egalitarian outcomes for people like yourself, that no one should fucking suffer. No one should fucking suffer and barely make ends meet when they got one single fucking job. People should be able to take care of a family and own a home on one income, okay? That's how it used to be, and that's how it should be. And yet the system's design, led by parasitic capital, parasitic forces of capital, has made it so that you have to do gig economy work, that you have to work longer hours and basically become a fucking servile little slave to super wealthy people or upper middle class people, okay? And then barely make ends meet in the aftermath of all that and can never own a fucking home. You have to literally be a permanent renter for the rest of your life. And then these guys turn around and say it's actually the bottom 2% that's fucking your life up. He's a rich guy telling you the average Joe, that you and others that are maybe worse off than you are the reason why society is busted. It's not the wealthy. Don't look up. You know how people say, like, it's not a left-right thing, it's an up versus down thing, it's a top versus bottom thing, right? That's true. Asmongold is doing this brilliant thing where he goes, it's not left-right, it's top versus bottom, and the bottom is at fault. Incredible. They can't be rehabilitated. They can only be removed from society. The biggest weakness of Western society is the lie that all men are created equal. Yeah, this is how you stay oppressed, by the way. This is how you stay oppressed. If you are in his audience and you listen to him say this stuff and you go, yeah, that's actually based. It's actually the homeless people that are at fucking fault. That's how you stay oppressed. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's Nazi shit, but it's also wrong, right? I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh, that's Nazi commentary and then let it sit like that. Because at this point, unfortunately, people do actually, love the Nazi shit. It doesn't have that same stink associated with it nowadays. So you have to also explain why it's wrong. Okay?